Hey, welcome back to Playfight. I am Cole, and I will be playing against myself. Um, this is a series where I play two decks and against each other. I'm playing both hands, and I will kind of walk through and tell you my movements and what I'm doing with the decks, especially with like new clans that have come out that I really like. So this week we've got Genesis, the Himiko build specifically, and then we have Baskirk over here. So, Standard Granblue. Um, and I guess we're just going to jump into it. So, everything's shuffled and good to go, but we're going to have Genesis be evens and Granblue to be odds. So, if I roll the die, if it's evens, then Genesis will go first. And it's a 6, so that means Genesis goes first. So I will be cutting my travel time in between the hands, which you'll see when we get further in. And we're just going to go from there. So we'll draw our 5. Okay, so I got Goddess of the Milky Way Pleione, a Witch of Frogs Melissa, a Oracle Queen Himiko, a Draw Trigger, and a Witch of Cats Cumin. So this hand's pretty strong. The only bad thing is I don't have a grade 2. So we're going to have to do something about that. For sure this draw trigger is going to go back. I already know that because I don't need it right now. Probably going to put Witch of Frogs Melissa back as well. So when I'm playing against Granblue, I have to really think about two different grade 1s that they have. Dancing Cutlass, if I'm grade stuck, is a 6k body, which means Witch of Frogs Melissa would be able to hit. If it was an 8k Danny Guyver Mario, Melissa of Frogs would not, or Witch of Frogs Melissa would not be able to hit. So it really just depends on what you want. But I think I don't need her right now. Also, I don't have a way to reduce the Soul Blast, so it's kind of hefty. So we'll put her back, and hopefully we can increase our chance of getting a grade 2. Alright, so we draw 2 new ones. So we drew a Heal Trigger, and then a grade 1 Mihi Karihime, the reduce the next Soul Blast by 3 for this turn. So that's what we got. Now we'll shuffle, and then I will move over to Baskirk and get that dealt with. Alright, Baskirk is going to draw. So a Norman the Ghosty, Skull Dragon, a Night Spirit, and then an SVR Baskirk. So right off the bat, I need a grade 2 as well. I don't need this critical trigger, so we'll just put that face down. Baskirk I need, Norman I need. I'll probably just keep this and hopefully I can get a grade 2. So that's the plan. I have run a lot of grade 2, so let's just do that. Put that back. And then we drew a critical trigger. That's not going to help us. Alright, Genesis will start us off then. Alright, here we go. Stand and draw. So for this episode, I think it's episode 5, I'm just going to mainly be focusing on Genesis, because Genesis is a bit newer, and Granblue, everybody should know what Granblue does by now. If not, I've done 2 other play fights on them already. They're my favorite clan, and I also did a deck profile on this deck. So if you want like a more in-depth explanation, then check those out. If I can figure out how, they'll be linked in the description or on the end card. But, so for Genesis, we could start with the regular when you ride upon, you can draw a card, like every other clan has. However, with Oracle Queen Himiko, she wants you to have a crit or a draw in your soul, and we'll get to that eventually. But the easiest way to get it, as far as I've come across, like to guarantee have it, is if you have it as you're starting Vanguard. So either a draw trigger or a critical trigger. I tried running the the regular Artemis grade 0, you know, the on-ride draw card. I tried running that for the longest time, but there were a couple turns where I'm on Himiko, I have enough soul, I just don't have any triggers in them. So for this one, we're going to start with a guaranteed critical trigger. So we will stand and we'll draw. Drew a grade 1 Artemis. It's my tech that I swapped in instead of, so instead of the grade 0 Artemis, I swapped that out so I could start with the trigger, and then I replaced it with this card just to see how it's going to work. So that's interesting. I will ride Cumin, Witch of Cats Cumin, because I don't have anything that I would need to put into my drop zone, or put from my drop zone into my soul, or bounce another rear guard to get any effects right now. So she's okay. And that would be my turn. So let's see what Granblue can do. Alright. Stand and draw. We drew a Ruin Shade. Nice and pretty OR Ruin Shade. So I'll ride normally the Ghosty and I'll draw. And I drew a Gust Jin. So as of right now, I'm not hitting, which is kind of unfortunate. So I will play Norman the Ghosty behind to boost. And now we'll swing for 14. Guaranteed hit, unless you know the guard. Let's see what Genesis has. Okay, so I could guard this easily, but I got a lot of cards in my hand that I want to save for a little bit later. So yeah, we'll take that damage. Not that this deck is necessarily counterblast heavy, but you definitely want to learn to take your damage and when to manage your resources, especially your soul. So we'll take that. Oh, first off, we'll do a drive check. It's a heal trigger. I guess power to the Vanguard, and nothing else really happens. And then a damage check, a draw trigger, perfect card. So power there, draw a card. We drew a critical trigger. Cyber Tiger. Okay. So that's all that Granblue can do. So we're going to stand and draw. So we did get a grade 2, and we actually got our optimal ride target in this deck, which is Battle Maiden Shitahorahime. And her ability is on the Vanguard or Rearguard. I can counterblast 1 until end of turn, reduce the next time I Soul Blast by 2, and one of my other units gets plus 3k. So I will actually call this Artemis down, and we'll see where this goes. Could use that, but I don't see the point in getting more power right now, because as of right now, this is 18k. And then that would be a 15k stop in order for them to guard, for Granblue to guard, and I don't think we're going to do that. So we'll attack then. Okay, so this has it's when it attacks or boost. I gotcha. So I put a card from my soul underneath her as a divine equip gauge. A divine gauge, sorry. That's the official English term, is divine gauge. Alright, so that's 18 at the Vanguard. 18, there's no on hit, it's just when it attacks or boosts for that Artemis Rearguard. So I'm going to take that, because I would like the counterblast. So we'll do a drive check. It's another copy of her that I can't pronounce. So just the 1 damage. Dancing Cutlass. Okay. Now Granblue's turn. Stand and draw. Do a Skeleton Bomber. Okay. So this is going to be a little weird. I'm going to ride the Skeleton Bomber, and then I'm going to call the Ruin Shade. And I'm doing that so I have a little bit, theoretically, a little bit more time to mill before I get to Baskirk. So if I put her out here, theoretically, she would still be able to mill next turn. Okay. Do we want to do anything else? Yeah, I'm going to pop Norman the Ghosty. And we'll give 10k to the Vanguard, and I'll move. Alright, well, mill 2. Oh, I forgot to get good dice. That's unfortunate. So I milled a draw trigger and a heal trigger, which sucks, but whatever. That's the price of playing Granblue. So, now we will move to attacks. 18 at the 10, Vanguard. Could guard that. Actually, no, we'll just let that hit. I was debating on guarding with a heal or a critical trigger, but it would be a 1 to pass, and at that point I kind of just don't mind taking the damage and saving the cards in my hand for later. So we'll do that. We'll just no guard that. So drive check. It's a heal trigger. Okay, so power to Ruin Shade then. And I heal the Dancing Cutlass, which sucks a little bit, but at least Dancing Cutlass is in the drop zone. So there's that. Okay, now Ruin Shade will attack, and we'll mill 2. There's another Dancing Cutlass. So that becomes 13 plus 10, 23, right? Yeah, 23 at the Vanguard. Oh, I did not take my damage. That was a heal trigger myself. So then we'll give 10k here. And then it's just a 5k guard. Stop that. Now we'll take that because I'm only on 1 damage again. I can afford to take it, save cards in my hand. So we'll take that, and it's a draw trigger. So power and draw. I drew Sahohime, grade 2. Alright, so that's all that Granblue's got for me. We will stand, draw. I drew a draw trigger perfect card. And we will ride Himiko. Himiko will give us a force gift. And I'll put it right here. Alright, so Himiko's ability is an activated ability. And I need 5 or more. I need to Soul Blast 5. And then I also need to put a draw trigger or a critical trigger on the bottom of my deck. And I can apply it to as many units as I want for whatever grade my opponent is at. So right now I only have 2 cards in my soul. It's not really worth it to do it right now, so we're gonna wait and just set up for next turn essentially. But I'm going to play one of the best cards in the deck right now, Goddess of the Milky Way, Pleione. On place, look at the top 3 cards in my deck. Put 1 card into my soul, and the rest on top of my deck in any order. So I will put Witch of Frogs Melissa into my soul, and I will stack these 2 in this specific way. So with Genesis, you need to be careful of how you stack your deck, because there are ways to draw what you stack. So if you got a bunch of garbage, like no triggers or anything that you really needed, there are ways where you can draw them right back. I don't have a copy of it, but Elixir specifically, when we get to him, is probably my favorite card in the deck. So that happens. And then let's do okay. So Battle Maiden Sahohime on place, Counterblast 1. Soul Blast 2. Actually, before we do that, let's play Shito Waru Hime. Yeah, Counterblast 1, reduce the next Soul Blast by 2, and give 3k to another unit. So we'll give 3k to Pleione, I think. And then I'll play Sahohime and it would reduce my Soul Blast by 2, so there's no Soul Blast. Then I draw 2 cards with Sahohime, and I put 1 card among them into my soul. I'm going to put this critical trigger into my soul, and then she gains whatever the card's guard value would be. So she'll gain 15k power. Okay, so now we'll move to attack. So we'll have Himiko attack boosted by Artemis. So that is going to be 21 at the Vanguard. 21 at the Vanguard. I have 0 damage. I would very much like damage, so we're just going to take that. So drive checks. First check. Critical trigger. Give the crit here. And then we'll give the power to Playone as well. Because might as well. Oh. Before I forget as well. She's got 5. That's 15 total. So yeah. So crit here, and power to Playone. Second check. And Ulixes. Look at that. Okay. So I'll go there, and I will take 2 damage. So first check, Ruin Shade. Second check, a Never Reach. Oh man, unfortunately I just realized that the glare is covering up Sahohime. So you just have to... I tried real hard to get that glare away. I don't know how. It's Sahohime there. Well, okay, so Never Reach and Ruin Shade. Alright, so the next attack will be Sahohime. So it's going to be 15 plus 9 is 24 at my 8k Vanguard. I will throw down a heal trigger to stop that. Okay. And then this next one, Playone. That is going to be 1, 2, 23, or 33, 36. Oof. I could perfect guard that, but I'm not going to. I'll just take the single damage. So damage check, a skeleton bomber. Okay. So that is all that Genesis can do. Now it's going to be Granblue's turn. Stand and draw. Do Danny Guy or Mario. Then we'll ride Baskerk. Grab a Protect gift. Call Mario here. Yeah. And then we'll use Baskerk's ability to Counterblast 1. Soul Blast 1. I think I Soul Blast the correct one. Yeah, that's cool. And then we'll call back Norman the Ghosty. Then we'll use Norman the Ghosty's ability to retire him, give that 10k mill to. So Baskerk and Skeleton Bomber. Also, Baskerk gained 5k because I called a grade 1. Okay. And we'll just leave it there. So we'll attack with Baskerk first. So that's 17 plus... How many actually are in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh man, it's not just... It's actually 10. And this gets 4 because I have 10 or more in the drop zone. Look at that. So that's 12 plus 22. So that's 34 at the Vanguard with a crit now as well. So let's see what Genesis has. 34 with a crit. We will perfect guard that. And I'll drop a critical trigger. And the reason we'll drop a critical trigger is because with which you kept Cumin, I still have a way to throw a trigger or whatever card I need from my drop zone into my soul. So it's not that big of a deal if I have to use it up like that. Plus I have another one in my hand I can still guard with, and some other options as well. So we'll perfect guard that. So drive checks. It's going to be a critical trigger. So We'll do everything to Ruin Shade. Do this over. So we'll give another 10 there, and a crit as well. And a Captain Night Mist. Okay. So now Ruin Shade will attack, and we'll mill 2 with her. Oops. Mill the crit. And another crit. Excellent. So that makes her 17, because I have 10 or more in the drop, and then I milled another, so that's plus 8, so 17, 37? 37 at Vanguard. Yeah, we're going to go for a little bit of rush with the crit. 37 with a crit. And I'm at 13. Ooh, I'd have to drop quite a lot in order to guard that. We'll just take that. We'll just take that. So, first is an Ellipses. Second is a Sahohime. Okay, that's all that Granblue can do now. So now Genesis will stand. And I'll draw a card. I drew a draw trigger. Okay, I'm not able to ride, unfortunately, but we can play an Ellipses on top, right there. So Ellipses' ability is at the end of the battle that it attacked a Vanguard, I can put him into the soul, draw a card, and soul charge 1. So essentially it's soul charge 2, and that he just leaves the field, leaves it open for me. So he's really good. And if you stack Playone first, if you use Playone first, and then you attack next, basically you can use the Elixirs to clear away any jank that's on the top, so you can check fresh cards, if that makes any sense. I didn't do a great job of explaining it. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards in. 2 of them are critical triggers, which is good. So first things first, let's play Miki. Yeah, Miki Karuhime. Yeah, so reduces the next Soul Blast by 3. Okay, and then I'll play Witch of Cat's Human. We will counterblast 1, rest her, and I'll actually throw this one back into my hand. Because Witch of Cat's Humans has to rest or return back a rest or a stood card, so you can't combo off of those. I don't know why you would, but yeah. Okay. So now we'll use Himiko's ability, so I only have to Soul Blast 2 cards. So I'll Soul Blast a Grade 1 Melissa and a Grade 2 Shitaru Hime, I believe. And then we will put this critical trigger on the bottom of the deck. And then I can distribute that any way I feel like, as if I'd actually triggered it. So we'll give crit and power here, crit and power here, and a crit and power here. Okay. So I'm going to use Artemis's ability. So we will counterblast 1, get rid of one of my gauge, and then I can snipe any unit in the same column, or any rearguard unit, same column that she's in. So we'll get rid of Dandy Guyver Mario. So now he has to use up resources in order to get that 12k boost. Okay, and now we will move to attack. So Himiko will attack for 23, 31 with an extra crit at the Vanguard. So this is why I have a Protect gift marker. And also that's why I saved Skull Dragon in my hand. Okay, perfect. So drive checks now. First check is a Himiko. Second check is a heal trigger. I do heal. So, let's put this draw trigger in just in case I need to actually put it in. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, and then we'll give that power to, let's give it to Playfight. No, oh, just move this up to 2. There. Okay. So then these are added to the hand. Alright. And then we'll have Ulysses attack. So that is going to be 20 with a crit at the Vanguard. I don't really want to take a crit, so we'll guard that with a 15. Okay, so Ulysses at the end of the battle, he goes into the soul. Jeez. I guess I don't really need this anymore. I draw a card, which is another Ulysses. Then I soul charge a card. So Miki Karu Hime. Third soul Blast 3 reduction unit. That one. Alright, and then Playfight will attack for 1, 2, 3, 43 at the Vanguard with a crit. Big number. Get rid of Captain Nightness. Okay. So it's going to be Granblue's turn now. So we'll stand. We'll draw. Do a Dancing Cutlass. Okay. We'll use Basker's ability. Counterblast 1. Soul Blast 1. Call unit. We'll call Skull Dragon. Alright, so Baskerk will get plus 20 and a crit. And there it is. And then Ruined Shade always has that 4 there. Because I have 10 or more in the drop zone now. Okay. Also, let's do the whole Dancing Cutlass thing. So we'll bind 1. Let's put it this way. Call a unit, countercharge 1, and then mill 1. Mill the trigger. Excellent. Excellent. Alright, so now we'll move to attack. So Baskerk is going to be 32 plus 6 is 38 at the Vanguard. Okay, 38. Don't have, it also has an extra crit as well. I don't have any more perfect guards, unfortunately. So we're going to have to hard guard this. Or we can, no, let's hard guard this. So, that puts me at 33. $48 to 38, so that's 1 to pass right now. And then we'll throw down that draw trigger to make it a 2 to pass. Alright, so let's see what we got. So first check. It's a critical trigger. Okay. Let's do the power to Ruin Shade and critical to Skull Dragon. Second check. A Commodore Blue Blood. Okay. So we'll have Ruin Shade attack and we'll mill 2. That's another Skull Dragon and a Ruin Shade. So it's going to be 17, 27 at the Vanguard. That's the single damage one. I'm going to take that. Maybe I get a trigger that will help me guard against Skull Dragon. So we'll take that. Hey, Ulysses. That's unfortunate. Okay. And then Skull Dragon will attack. I actually do need that number. It does matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 plus 18 is 36 plus 12, 48. 48 was a crit at the Vanguard. That would kill me unless I had a heal trigger, so we actually have to guard. Holy cow. So that's 33, 43, 48 would match it, so I actually have to take this, and hopefully I can get a, heal trigger. So, Melissa and a Himiko. Holy guacamole. That was really short. Oh man, okay. Well, yeah, that's it. I lost. I probably could have played a little bit better. I don't know, I haven't touched Genesis in a while. I just kind of picked it out of my bag and decided, hey, I haven't showed anyone how to play Genesis. Let's try that. Genesis is definitely a high skill deck, and it's one that you need to practice with a lot. You need to know when to play cards more than normal. Because most of the cards in here are really good. Like, there's not really a mediocre. The only mediocre one is probably the grade 2 double R, the Shitaru Hime. Just because it costs counterblast in order to reduce by 2 and give a unit 3k. Whereas, I don't know, the grade 1 that does that. Wherever she is. Her. She's really good. Yeah, she's pretty solid. Probably a game 2 coming in, because I really need to show off what Genesis can do, because that was not a great game. But if you want to see more games, I figured out how to do the whole end card thing on YouTube, so we're gonna be trying that out for a bit. And if you wanted to watch any of those games, they should be there on the end card. Also, if you want to hear us talk about Vanguard, I do a weekly podcast called Drive Check, a Cardfight Vanguard podcast. It's on SoundCloud. It's also on iTunes or wherever you get your podcast normally. And also, we have a Patreon, and that is the only way that we can get these. You can get these exclusive, beautiful Drive Check gift markers. So here's the first one specifically. They look pretty good, and I'm very proud of them. And on the back of them is our business card. So if you got some friends at your locals who really like them, you can hand them the business card, and they can look us up and figure out how to get them as well. So I really like that. I'm very proud of those. And second round of those are printed right now. So yeah, that's about all I got to say. Genesis is definitely fun. It's a little frustrating because you have to get all the pieces to move in the right way. But it's definitely fun when everything does move together. And especially with, I don't know if I have, Witch of Frogs Melissa. She's so good. And I've ranted about her on the podcast before. But specifically, when placed, you Soul Blast 3, your opponent looks at the same number of cards on the top of the deck as the number of their face-up rear guards, calls them to rear guard circles with units on them, shuffles the deck, your opponent's on-call abilities to activate. So basically, like, let's say that this was my opponent's Granblue field, right? And I played Witch of Frogs Melissa, I paid for the cost and whatnot. They have to check the top 2 cards of their deck. Notice how they're both triggers. They have to choose where they're going to place them, and they replace what was already there. So boom, so now, instead of a Ruin Shade and a pesky Dancing Cutlass, that's 2 triggers gone from their deck. Also, against Granblue, who likes to self-mill a lot, it is quite brutal. Plus, she gets around any units that have resist or can't be retired by effects like Promise Daughter. She gets around that as well, because she doesn't retire, she just forces you to call on top of them. So, I didn't get a chance to really throw her around, but she's an excellent card. A little costly, but that's why you have that other grade 1. And even that grade 2 definitely helps with it, with that Soul Blast reduction. And plus, I'm not sure if I want to do start with a critical trigger or a draw trigger first with Genesis, because I thought maybe applying that early pressure would be pretty good, you know, to get opponent up to as much damage so that the next time that I can Himiko, I can just swing for very large amounts. doesn't happen very often, unfortunately. So I think if my first trigger would be a draw trigger, and I think that might be better. Like my starter would be my draw trigger, because then I can just get power up and draw and strengthen my hand and make it a lot better to go second. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably what we're going to do. Let me just swap that out while we're talking. There we go. Okay. And we're starting with that one and not the perfect card because, obviously you want to keep that perfect card. Keep as many chances, as many possibilities as possible to get that perfect card into your hand. Doesn't really happen with this card, or, with your starter, it being your starter. So, without further ado, I'm going to head out, and I'd probably start editing it right now. If you have any questions in the comments, let me know. If you have a better deck build idea for Genesis, let me know. I'm pretty much running 4 of every card that you see in there. That's essentially what my lineup is. If you have any better builds, let me know. Or if I'm playing things wrong, also let me know, because I would like to get better with Genesis. It's one of my favorite decks. So, without further ado, I'm heading out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's a lot sooner than 3 months.